morning. Buenos dias. My name is Faheed, Alli-Balogun, and I head the product team at Chimoney. With me is someone who needs no introduction, Uchi, founder and CEO. A story of someone called Valeria. She a ledger and web monetization today. She's a Mexican, so she only has Mexican pesos in her bank account. But in order to use what we want to do, she needs USD in her wallet. So how can Valeria get this USD? Bearing in mind that she's a Mexican living in Mexico. So in order to do this, Valeria will go to her Chimoney app. And this is live, this is prod, right? And she would click on wallet funding. She would select an amount, let's say 100. Okay. The boss has said it's 100. So we'll fund 100. And this will take her to, okay, demo. So let's use the other one. Yeah.
So that's just like a security feature that...
So why that came up is we have some compliance stuff, and we've done too many transactions, testing, and so this account is temporarily blocked. So I'm going to use another account. I'll use the other phone. Hopefully we haven't overdone it here as well. Yeah, Uchi, could you switch? Okay, so we need to show the screen. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to do 100. Okay, it's going to come up. So now this takes us to the Chimoney checkout page where there's like a plethora of options which users can use depending on where they are. Valeria would click on bank, and as you can see, we have there Clabi, Mexico. And what this does is it generates a per transaction bank account which can be paid into, and any money that comes into this account would automatically reflect in our USD wallet, right? So my friend from Mexico would help us with this transaction into this bank account, but because of time, we'll just proceed as though we've done it. So we're going to click on done, and as you can see, there's like a notification. I'm just going to exit this and go back to the wallet. Now we're going to see, let's say Valeria has some money in her US wallet. Let's switch back to the other phone. Now, Valeria likes cartoons and she wants to watch some, right? First thing is she would connect her wallet address on the Chimoney app to the web monetization extension, right? And as you can see, just right there, the extension on the top right-hand corner is green, which means that it has recognized this web page. Now, if you come down here, you can see that there are monetization events already happening, which means that payment is already being streamed to the... I would go back to the app, and we can see those transactions in real time. All right, you just refresh. Okay, as you can see, transactions, WebMo payout, right? There's actually a lot of them because we've been testing a lot, right? So now the question is, who gets this money? The creator. So what can the creator actually do with all the money that is being sent? And to make this more interesting, I think we should do a one-time payment to the creator. So to do this, I will just go to the web page and click on the Interledger web monetization extension. And let's see, let's do 50. Okay. Or let's do 100. Let's be generous. So 100. Okay. Let's do 50. So I'm just going to send. And observe that at the bottom here, the event will be created. Okay? Okay, that's another. Oh, did I click back? Ah, damn, sorry about that. So we'll just do it again. More money. So we're gonna do 50, smaller amount. Okay, so click on send. And as you can see, that's the same $5. So the event has happened, the money has been sent, right? And we have this weird error happening, but you can just ignore that. So now, this money, when the creator has received it, I'll want you to come on, take us through what happens and how to use the money.
Awesome. Thanks, Faheed. So meet Femi. Femi is a Nigerian filmmaker who just got paid by Valerie. And now Femi needs to use the money that he just got in the real world. So he's going to try to cash out his money to his Mexican bank account. And also he's going to send some to his family and friends in Nigeria. So we're going to see how that works in real time. So we're going to switch to the other device here. This is Femi's device, by the way. So Femi would click okay, so Femi would click cash out to bank. When he does that, notice that we have 4 options, and most of the options there are instant. For the Mexican one, Femi wants to cash out $80 US. And in real time, you see the exchange rate that we offer. And then we already have a Mexican bank account there. And he'll click proceed and confirm. So, and then just enter a PIN. And then we'll start sending the transaction. So what's happening right now is that we do some transaction monitoring checks, and then we call a partner in Mexico to disburse that payment in real time. And within a few seconds, Simon should get that in his Mexican bank account. And it's instant, and this works not just for Mexico, but also for Nigeria. So now Femi has paid out to himself, and he can pay his bill in Mexico. Additionally, he wants to send to his family and friends also. So he has family and friends in Nigeria. All right, so how he's going to do that is he will click, the balance also reduced, right? And it's reduced, right? So when he wants to send to family and friends, he click cash out, and then it's also instant. He's going to send $20 to his family and friends there. Select the bank account details, and then select the bank. Once he does that, he will click proceed, and also enter the PIN. And then again, in real time, this payment will be processed after we've done some transaction monitoring checks. We've done additional checks in the background. This payment will be disbursed to the Nigerian bank account. And this is actually my account, so I can show you that this transaction was settled in my Nigerian bank account. Okay, so I'm going to log into my bank account with one of the banks in Nigeria. And when I click on transaction history, hopefully that works. And in a few moments, that transaction will pop up. Okay, just give it like 1 moment. So hopefully okay, yeah, so we see the transaction there, right? The new one, the 28,000. Nigerian naira. It's right there in a bank account in Nigeria. And I'm pretty sure the one we sent to Simon also to Mexico was also delivered. So now, I guess the question you'll be asking is, how can I launch or build something similar, right? So if I want to integrate Interledger, how do I go live with Interledger? So what we've done here is that we have prepared a demo to show you how anyone can launch an Interledger payment experience. So there are 3 ways of doing this. The first way is to be a licensed account servicing entity, which is, what everyone knows, right? So for this, you would build your own stack. So the assumption here is that you're licensed, you have KYC infrastructure, you have account management already, and also you have a ledger system. However, you need to deploy Rafiki, right? So you deploy Rafiki and all of the corresponding services like the webhook system and things like that. And we've gone ahead to also include a list of checklists from the Rafiki docs to show you what's required to do this. We're not really going to go into too much details, but if you want to learn more, Rafiki.dev has everything that you need to launch or integrate Interledger as a licensed entity. So the next thing we're going to show is an experiment we're working on. We're calling it the Interledger Infrastructure as a Service. So this infrastructure as a service provides 3 options to deploy or to go live with Interledger. The first option is to use a hosted wallet approach provided by a licensed entity like Chimoney. As most of you know, Rafiki has a multi-tenant option now. So what we're doing is that you don't need to be licensed to use this Chimoney hosted approach. So you can create payment pointers using just API calls. So you call Chimoney's API, you can create multi-currency wallets, you can create wallet addresses, you can also get access to all of the services like web monetization that Interledger provides. And all of this can be done in less than 2 weeks. So 2 weeks to 2 months, you can go live. We'll be happy to chat about how all of this works in a bit. But the beauty of this is that it scales automatically as you grow. The second approach that we're looking at, or the second option for this Interledger infrastructure as a service experiment that we're running, is the self-hosted deployment approach. So for you to run this, you need to be a licensed account servicing entity. So what we've done is that we've provided deployment automations and templates, which are all available on GitHub, which allows you to run those scripts, and in one click, you can set up the full Interledger stack on AWS or Google Cloud. So all of this is available on the Chimoney Interledger Infrastructure as a Service repo on GitHub, and anyone can contribute to it and also see the code there. The final approach is the managed option. That's gonna go.
Okay, so while Uchi does that, Simon, could you confirm if you got the payment in your local Mexican bank?
Okay, so.
Okay, Simon got it, yeah, awesome.
Awesome. So we've been able to show that you can move money from a Mexican bank account, use it on Interledger, and then if you receive money via web monetization or a one-time payment on open payment or web monetization, you can also cash it out to a bank account in Nigeria, to Mexico via Pay, and to other countries. So Chimoney offers payouts to over 100 countries. So moving on to the Interledger infrastructure as a service. So to summarize what we talked about earlier, we have the hosted option, which is available to licensed account servicing entities. We have the self-hosted option. So for this, you have full control of it. And then the third option is the Chimoney manage option. All of this is still an experiment, and the code is available on GitHub. If there's one point here I would like to take from this is that the hosted option supports non-account servicing entities, and you can go live with it in as little as 2 weeks. And also multi-currency wallets are included. So if you want to learn more, please scan the QR code or visit that repo to kind of see what we've done there. It's all open source. So moving on to do a deeper dive, and this is where we would actually run some API calls. So what we're going to show here is that as a non-account servicing entity, you can actually issue payment pointers. You can initiate interledger transactions. You can issue multi-currency wallets and things like that. So let's see how it works. I already set up my Chimoney API key here. I'm going to use the sandbox one. And the first step, of course, is to get your API key on Sandbox. It's free to do that, and also there's the option to get it in production. There are some compliance requirements to get production API keys. So once you've set up your account, the next step is you have some users, right? Sorry, I'm just going to go back here. So you have some users that you've already onboarded. Now you want to issue these users multi-currency accounts, and also you want them to have customized Interledger wallet addresses. So how you do that is you would call this Chimoney create multi-currency wallet endpoints with an email. So yeah, that's a duplicate email, so I'll just use a different email. Uchi demo. Okay, so I'll use that email, and then I'll make the API call again. And this account is created, and this you can link this user to your authentication system, right? Basically, you give them a multi-currency account. Next step is you want to KYC this user. So Chimoney also provides an optional service for KYCing these sub-accounts or multi-currency accounts. We're not really going to do that now. But the interesting part is how do you issue Interledger wallet addresses to this new account that you just created. So we have the user ID that we just created before, and then we can pick a custom wallet address. Let's say demo 1A. So when I run the API call, again, it calls the Chimoney API, and then notice that it created this Interledger wallet address. It's a USD account, it's active, all of the good stuff that you expect from an Interledger wallet address. This domain can also be customized in production to match the domain of the entity. Okay, so now we have this wallet address. How do we transact with it, right? How do we add money to this account? How do we withdraw money from this account? Let's see how. So the first step, of course, is to that's the email. Let's say we want to fund $400 US. You can fund different currencies, but for the purpose of this demo, we're keeping it simple. We're just going to say US dollars. So when I run the API call, again, it's going to initiate that funding request. Okay, so I think that might fail, but maybe it's the API key. I just have to choose a new one. I'll just let it to fail, and I'll try it again. If I refresh, it's gonna start all over again. Okay, so let's see. The demo goals have been nice, but I think it's breaking now. Okay, I'm just gonna refresh and start the entire stuff again without walking through it. Okay, so again, we create the wallet address. Just make sure that the API key is set to the correct one so it doesn't fail again. Okay, so that has been created. and then we would issue the wallet address again. So demo 111. We'll run that, and the wallet address again, it's gonna be created. Let's see. Okay. I'm not sure why it's not working. I think we'll just continue. So we'll just continue to the funding one. Let's see if that works. And the demo gods are with us this time around. Yeah, it shouldn't take that long. Probably something with my... I think the API key is expired. Let me see if I can get a new one from Sandbox. I just have to switch here. So I'll just update the API key, just to make sure it's not an issue. And if it doesn't work now, we just have to trust that it actually works. So I would add that there. So I would go back, and then key. Okay. Yeah, so it worked. Yeah, so she 1, 2, 3. Let's run that again. Fingers crossed. So that worked. Probably API key was expired. Okay, so, and then now I want to fund. Let's try $70 and see what happens now. Okay. Okay, that did not work. So I'm just going to skip through it. So the next step is, after you add money to the account, of course, you want to transfer to a different account. So this is the endpoint to do that. The Interledger wallet address endpoint lets you, okay, I think I can redeem myself in production. So use production. So let's see. Okay, so that production key is correct. Okay, that's right. So yeah, production should be more stable. Okay, so that works. And then we're going to create the funding request also. Let's just try that. Time out. Yeah, so the other request timed out, the Sandbox one earlier. So cannot verify really. Once we clear amount, okay. Okay, so that works, right? So we've funded that, and then I will now try to make that payment. Oh, yeah, I know what's happening. For some reason, yeah, our production is blocking this iframe from being embedded, but we can still try it by copying the payment link here. So all payment requests that are initiated on Chimoney has a payment link, and this payment link can be embedded on you can redirect the user to this payment link there. So yeah, that was the amount. That's a lot of that's a lot of money. But so I'm not really gonna pay that. So yeah, and then you can pay that. Once that is funded, the next step, of course, is you want to make a transfer to a wallet address. So I think I have a production wallet address that is Uchi 1, I believe. So let's try that. Okay, yeah, so this wallet address is not valid. I'm going to get a valid one now. Okay, so I'll get a valid one, 525144944. Okay, so when I send this payment, Insufficient balance. Insufficient balance in that wallet. I guess we just have to skip. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is that you can integrate and go live with payment pointers, as we've seen. You can create a wallet address. You can enable funding of that wallet address. You can also then enable transfers between that wallet address and to other payment pointers. And the beauty of it is that you can enable withdrawals from the wallet address to mobile money across African countries. To Interac, for the Canadians that are here, Interac is just like email money transfer. And then to SPAY in Mexico, which we just saw live, and we saw that Simon got the payment in real time. So what's next? What's next for Chimoney? So far, we've seen that we can go live with Interledger using Chimoney's payment infrastructure. However, what have Chimoney been up to, right? So we've made lots of improvements in the funding flow, the compliance side of things. And something we just did recently is pairing with the Interledger wallet in testnet. So that's very exciting because you can send money between a Chimoney wallet address to an Interledger wallet address. So the next step for that is to go live in production between the production Interledger wallet, and then also go live with other partners in the ecosystem like GitHub, Fiant, and others. And something else we're looking to do is to refine the positioning and narrative of Chimoney. Maybe you might not see me speaking here next summit. Someone else might be speaking. But yeah, so super excited for the next phase of growth for us. And if you'd like to see the demo that I've just shown one-on-one, please scan the QR code on the left. And if you'd like to have discussions about the architecture of how you want to deploy Interledger, you can scan the QR code on the right. So in conclusion, Chimoney comes from Chi, which is a universal life force that flows through everything. And our mission is to enable payments to move seamlessly across the world. And to show that, there's a last demo here, which shows us that with one API call, you can send payments to multiple payment methods, bank accounts, mobile money, SPAY, crypto, and things like that. Interledger, with just one API call. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, I will need one just to have. We will have to have questions, but we are, trying to get more on time back. And you will be around. I saw you guys. You had a little sticker or stuff at the table downstairs. So if you want to talk more with them, they will be around. I'm feeling that I have to invite the next speakers to prepare. And we already know them from, he's running. It's going to be fine. I do expect more from Anna, and let's see if Tadej also going to be on stage. I'm kidding. Anyone that was yesterday at Tadej's talk with it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and you came for more, I'm not sure what that tells about you people. I'm joking. By the way, for the people that are new today in the room, half of what I'm saying is real. Half I'm trying to be a comedian because who knows if Interledger will still have me around next year. You never know with this economy what's going to happen. My mic? I'm not going to give you my mic today. I'm only going to let Anna speak today because, we know, we don't trust you there. No, I said that this part will be a mix of technologies, and I think it's very important to understand what happens behind the nice things that we share with, this application here, this there, and understand literally how things work. And we are ready, or we are not. We are ready. Anyone that added a topic for the open mic session? Are you shy? Maybe we can talk about design system. I see a designer in the room. No pressure. No pressure. I can point at each one something to speak about. Annie, if you want to, be careful, be careful. We can give you the mic. Yes, in the back there. I think that just to mention, the open mic is literally an unconference. You can propose the topic, either to present it yourself or to ask someone from Interledger ecosystem to present more about it. We're ready to rock. Then let's learn more about paint pointers and SEPA. You need my mic or not? No. Okay, perfect. Roll it. Thank you.
Okay, let's go. I hope you can hear me. So, hey everyone, my name is Anna. No? Oh.
I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Easier.
Okay.
This is for me to do my steps. Thank you so much for considering it.
Okay. Is it working? Okay,
Yes.
now it is.
Woo-hoo!
Okay. Hey everyone, so my name is Anna. I'm the backend team lead at GitHub, and I'm super excited to be here today, along with the head of development at GitHub, Tadej, on my right. We are going to be demonstrating and telling you a bit about our pilot proof of concept, a solution for directly off-ramping ILP payments from the ILP network into the European payment area via SEPA. So before we delve into the details about the proof of concept, of course, I have to tell you a little bit about GitHub. So GitHub is a UK and EU-based fintech company. We have started over 10 years ago, and we have spent this time building a platform to allow individuals, businesses, and financial institutions as well to benefit from various technological advancements, portable identity, blockchain, Interledger, and others. Our main mission is to make any type of value accessible and easy transferable. It's not difficult to see how this meshes pretty well with the Interledger vision. So it's also not a surprise that we have been collaborating with Interledger for a good while now. So I thought it would be good to briefly describe our Interledger support as it is at the moment. So right now, GitHub is operating our own production Rafiki instance. We currently have one direct Rafiki peer, which is Interledger cards. We have implemented full open payments support. And I'm happy to report we have recently reached over 1.5 million payment pointers issued in total for our GitHub users. And we have recently started issuing payment pointers by default for all newly created wallets. And also, this also includes crypto wallets on the Ripple ledger. So how did we get to thinking and exploring SEPA payments and bridging from ILP to SEPA? Well, we have recently launched an exciting new feature, which is support for instant SEPA payments from and into our platform. So it was a natural consequence of this that we started thinking about how we could bridge these two networks. This sort of fits with our entire mission and gives us a good opportunity to think and build something in collaboration with Interledger. So why would we need a bridge at all, right? So receiving a payment via ILP, when you get a payment to your payment pointer, the funds are stored as a digital balance by your wallet provider, which is the ASC, right? They don't automatically reach bank rails or any other payout network. So you always need an additional step to make those balances or those assets spendable, right? So to access the funds beyond the ASC wallet, to transfer it via SEPA, other banking rails, or crypto rails, right? Your ASC must directly support that payout rail, or you usually have to onboard with another provider and do some manual steps to transfer those funds there. So all in all, real-world spendability directly depends on your wallet provider's capabilities. So this got us thinking, could we find a way of directly settling a payment to your payment pointer to an European IBAN, which is the SEPA network address, right? So a couple of things we were thinking about is we could leverage our existing ILP and Rafiki integration. We were thinking about finding a way of triggering a direct SEPA payout automatically once the ILP payment is settled. We would ensure regulatory compliance via sender-side KYC and relying on peer trust via peering agreements. And this would allow us to offer support for third-party withdrawals where the recipient only needs their own bank account at their European bank and they don't have to do anything at any provider and rely on hosted balances, right? So our idea was to, for a transfer to a payment pointer to be directly routed to a bank account and the recipient doesn't need a wallet or a hosted balance. So the solution, the proof of concept we came up with is the concept of a special type of payment pointers, which we call SEPA payment pointers. Well, in fact, they're just normal payment pointers that we treat a little bit differently because of their specific name, right? So for this proof of concept, we relied heavily on our pre-existing peering relationship with Interledger cards, which simplified a lot of things for this, right? We are already Rafiki peers. Interledger cards relies on KYC provided by us, and Interledger cards already has an agreement and a solution found for funding liquidity wallet at GitHub, right? So those were all circumstances that made this much faster to implement. So the scenario we support really here is if you're Anna at Interledger Cards and you have no direct way of making a payout to SEPA on Interledger Cards or any other ASC because they're not SEPA capable, right? And you want to directly pay out those funds to an IBAN. So let's say I'm sending funds to Tadej and his IBAN. How could this look, right? So the SEPA payment pointer I was mentioning is just normal payment pointer issued by GitHub, which is formatted a little bit differently. So you just put in the IBAN you're sending your funds to. So in the scheme, so Anna is starting with Interledger cards and is just triggering an ILP payment to the Interledger direct peer GitHub. This is already supported, but we did need an additional step, and the team at Interledger Cards was very nice to support this very quickly. So they need to send us over additional metadata to support the verification of payee step, which has been in action as a regulatory thing since the beginning of October. So Interledger Cards sends us additional metadata, which includes the legal name of the recipient and the recipient type, whether this is a corporate or private entity, right? And this is to allow the recipient bank to confirm whether the owner of this IBAN matches the legal name that the sender is aware of. So this was the only additional implementation step that the sender ASC had to do at this point. So otherwise, this all behaves as a normal ILP payment. So once GitHub processes this deposit, right, we automatically and immediately trigger an off-ramp payment to SEPA rails. This payment gets funded from a pre-agreed upon liquidity wallet at GitHub. And ideally, this SEPA payout gets paid out instantly unless we sometimes fall back to standard SEPA, which takes a couple of hours. Yeah, so this is how it ideally works. And now we'll have Tadej show us a little bit about how that works.
Oh, yeah, hi. Can I start with a joke?
It's fine.
It's fine. So we put this in production last week on a Friday, and Anna said, today, if this will not work, you will do the demo. So I have a demo today, and it's working. So, okay, let's first start with the GitHub wallet. We did a couple of things, not just these IBANs. So as you can see your payment pointer address right in your wallet immediately. You don't need to go to the advanced and then to the Interledger settings to see your payment pointers. One other thing, I think that there was a blog post from Sid about, let's say, non-standard payment pointers name. So we also changed that a little bit. So if you create a new payment pointer, you can have like a custom name now since last week. But yeah, okay. And also, users had a problem. They were like, today I'm on GitHub and I cannot see Interledger settings. And I was like, oh yeah, you're on the XRPL wallet. And they were like, what is XRPL wallet? And I'm like, okay, just do these steps and that's it. So we also added support for the XRPL wallets. So you can receive funds through the LP directly into your XRPL wallet. Through the Interledger protocol. Yeah, that also works. We support both XRPL and Zaho at the moment. So let's first let's try that one. So this is my payment pointer, and I will go to the Interledger cards, and I will just send money to myself. Because last year I spent too much money sending to everybody. Right, Yana? Oh, she's not here. Okay. Let's do like I don't know. Those are euros. Let's say 2 euros. I will do 2 euros. I will review the payment, and I will send it. And fingers crossed. Have here 4. Let's just wait for a couple of seconds. Refresh page, and we should see there 6. Oh, I'm on Wi-Fi. Let me connect to the hotspot. Yeah. Let's try again now. Hopefully. Really hopefully. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. So I received 2 euros into my XRPL wallet. So I have now the balance here. The balance here is 6. So it means it's working. 1 minute ago. It says 1 minute ago. So this is the correct transaction. Okay. Yeah, we speak LP. Yes. But basically, you will see the deposit was made from the. If you go under the transaction, you will see the. Yeah. You will see the deposits from AirHot. That is our hot wallet on the XRPL through which you receive funds. In order for this to work, you need to have like a trust line. I assume that you don't know what a trust line is. Trust line means that you can hold other assets in the XRPL wallet. So you have Euro trust line. If you don't have it, the transaction will still go through. The funds will be, let's say, stacked, and when you will have trust line, then the funds will be released. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's say that I want to send money to myself, to my bank account. So I have a Revolut bank account. That is European, very popular thing. Yeah, let's do. I need to find one of my transactions. I think it's this. So this is the payment pointer that Anna talked about previously. So I will do just send again to my Revolut. And very cool thing about this is that you don't need to go on GitHub and create this payment pointer. You can just, I don't know if, oh, Alex, hi. If you would give me your IBAN, I would just be able to put the IBAN here, and that payment pointer would be created automatically on the GitHub site, and that's it. So Anna talked also a little bit about the verification of pay. That is, Europe is very nice in terms of the regulation. We can, because of the bet. So you need to put your legal name here for the verification of pay. There is an issue with Revolut, basically. Revolut Bank apparently, don't know why, doesn't support this regulation. And yeah, it's very funny. They should, so I will just send €1 to myself. I'll review the payment, and what here is doing, it's contacting basically Revolut if this IBAN actually is tied, if the owner of this IBAN is actually Tadej Golobic. The answer is yes, but you will see on the screen what we get back from the Central Bank of Lithuania. So we get back the regulation says that this can take up to 20 seconds. You think that's the internet problem? Hope so. Let's, wow. Let's try again. I tried this before I came here. Let's do maybe less. I don't know. Let's do maybe less. Yeah, fingers crossed. But this is working. I assure you that this is working. Yeah, it works on my machine. Yeah. Yeah. Let's wait. Let's wait. Okay. So you see here verification result. We were unable to verify the recipient's name because the recipient's bank does not support the name checks. Please double check the account details before proceeding. So regulation says we need to show this result to the user, and user can decide if he wants to decline or send. I will do send here because I know that that is mine account, so let's just do send. And if there is any justice, this will go through the SEPA instant payment. So we can see here that the ILP payment was completed. So let's connect my phone. Let's connect my phone here, so you'll be able to see my Revolut. And if not, I will do one transaction again. Let's go to Revolut here. And moments ago, I received 10 cents. Ta-da! Yeah, so if you think about it, how long does this take? It's the SEPA instant should be in up to 10 seconds, and then the ILP, let's say, almost instantly. So I would say up to 15 seconds, let's say. And then you have money in your bank account, and you can spend it whatever you want. Alex, I think that we don't have time for me to send you the money, so we will do that. We'll do that later. We will talk about that. Yeah. So let's just continue with the. I don't know where the mouse is. With the presentation. Yeah.
Okay, so now that we saw a demo of our proof of concept, you might be wondering how onboarding new users for this SEPA off-ramping could look. So for now, bringing a new organization onto the SEPA off-ramp solution is fully based on peer-to-peer agreements, right? So some aspects that would need to be addressed via peering contracts would be KYC data exchange for payer verification. The organization would have to be onboarded and go through KYB checks on GitHub. We would need to sort out Rafiki peering and settlement details. And of course, additional ASC to ASC integration steps, mainly to support verification of payee flows. So these would be the main things to address. How we could support additional off-ramping. So as you saw earlier, during today's demo, we can also support off-ramping to non-traditional networks, which currently includes Ripple Ledger and Zahao. So in this situation, the same ILP flow as we know triggers a direct payout onto crypto rails. Of course, we can't conclude a proof of concept pilot demo without addressing some open questions here, right? So how would we address the problem of non-direct peers and off-ramping in that case? So there are two main things we would need to solve here. So we would need to consider KYC, relevant regulation, and off-ramp specific data traveling through the entire chain. So it's not enough to just send from A to B or from B to C, but it would have to travel transitively through the entire chain. And there would need to be a way of sharing additional information required for the off-ramping, and this would have to be pretty generalizable, right? Otherwise, we would end up in a situation where everyone in the chain would have to talk to GitHub and ask us how to implement the verification of payee step specifically. So yeah, these are some open questions with this. I was very excited to hear that Interledger is working on integrating KYC data traveling throughout the protocol, so that would address a bit of this. But yeah, we would be excited to talk to Interledger and everyone else a little bit more about this and the possible solutions.
They are there. They are there.
Oh, okay.
The Rafiki team.
Yeah. Okay, so this is it from us. I hope you enjoyed this and found it as exciting as we did. So yeah, any questions or comments? Thanks.
So I'm going to run with this if we do have 1 or 2 questions time. No? All good? Do we try SEPA? Do we send them? Can we send you the IBAN still to test later in the day?
Yes, you can send me the IBANs. Oh, no, no. You can send the IBANs to Dragos. Dragos did the demo yesterday with my money, and he basically drained my wallet. So you can send the IBANs to Dragos, and Dragos...
The best part was that there were 3 engineers, 2 speakers, and they sent money to a 4th one, you know? So the other guy was just in the bus getting the money. I was like, good work here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope I'm not censored here. But as the rest of the speakers, they are going to be around still today. So if you see them around and still have a question, more than happy to reply for sure. So today's sessions are like updates from the Chimoney, updates from the SEPA work we do with the GitHub people. And I think one of the most expected or waited for is an update from our site, from Rafiki and Open Payments. Let's do it. We have Max and Nathan. I think there is a criteria here. You see, they keep like, do we really have to go to present? Like, we really have to go? Yes. Do you need help with? Ready to rock? Yes, it's coming now. Do we also have the attached one? Do you want the hair? Yes. I already give you the torch. Let's rock it.
Thanks, Alana. How's this for building suspense? Start with a joke. I think a YouTube link is really awkward to like say out loud. I realize this is a very much a very inside joke here, but I instead of giving like real status updates for like our stand-ups, I'll just like post like a YouTube link to something I find funny, and just leave it up to the reader to just figure out what's going on in my mind. So as you can tell, I'm such a team player, just such a team player. These videos are just, they're very kind of like, almost like subconscious views into my soul. Like, what do you mean, what soul? What kind of, do you even watch the videos? Well, I think what we've got ready for you was gonna have plenty of soul. So, I hope you, if there's one thing you take away from this, is that we have at least some soul. I really wish this computer had a soul though, because then we could tell it to like hurry up or something. But alas, we do not have that luxury. That's right. Yeah. I suppose I can tell you all now there's no demos, so therefore no anxiety about how well the internet is gonna stay connected. Yeah. I think when they do get souls, they're gonna remember what you said. shall we?
Hello, everyone. My name is Max. I'm a lead of Rafiki team, and I have with me.
I'm Nathan. I'm also a member of the Rafiki team. You know, I also contribute and more or less just keep Max on his toes. And we're excited to show you some new updates that we've put together over the past year for Rafiki. So to kind of just make sure that everyone's on the same page here, I know Rafiki tends to get said a lot here without a lot of context, but just to kind of give a brief overview of what it is, Rafiki is a set of services that run, they run an ILP connector and they implement open payments, which, you know, it was conceived as kind of like a really easy way to join an ILP network. And, you know, in the past when we were developing Rafiki, you know, we used to kind of have a rather predictive method where we would try to, like, you know, speculate on what sort of real world use cases and scenarios might need to be developed for. But as more and more like real world deployments of Rafiki come online, we've had the opportunity to hear more from our integrators and cater more to their needs and experiences. And so combining both that and, you know, continuing to rely on our intuition, we've been able to put together these features over the past year. So first one, integrators often ask, I want to participate in a payment network with minimal integration requirements. And so we asked ourselves, why not reuse an existing Rafiki instance? So we came up with the concept of multi-tenancy, which, if I may kind of add a little commentary here, I find myself worrying sometimes that calling it multi-tenancy kind of brings up the idea of, say, like a relationship between a landlord and a tenant. But I just want to reassure everyone in the room that the way we've implemented it here is, it's a lot less, shall we say, parasitic than that. Look, we named this thing after the Swahili word for friend. So we just kind of want to stay in that neighborhood of that kind of relationship, right? But anyway, with multi-tenancy, Rafiki is now able to host multiple tenants, as we're calling them, on a single instance, each with their own dedicated set of resources and configuration options. Such things would be like wallet addresses, they can configure their own identity providers, peering relationships, manage their own liquidity, and different sets of supported currencies. And in order to kind of orchestrate all of this, all instances have what we're calling an operator tenant, which has elevated permissions to manage other tenants, onboard them onto the Rafiki instance, and so forth. So here we have a diagram that kind of shows the basic shape of multi-tenancy. You can see kind of in the top left, the top left, what represents the operator tenant. We could see that it's running a Rafiki instance on which it and all the other tenants are hosted. And then the other three parts of this diagram all kind of connect with that Rafiki instance and use that connection to initiate payments without actually hosting their own Rafiki infrastructure.
Another aspect we had is more from the perspective of the open payments client. So a client sometimes doesn't need to make payments, right? Sometimes it just wants to say, I want to verify that the person really owns this wallet address. So in other words, as an open payments client, sometimes I want users to just be able to sign in with open payments. And to illustrate an example, you saw the diagram 2 slides before that was done in Scalability. Beautiful diagram. Right, so to take this, right, Excalibur is just a platform for diagramming. I'm an Excalibur developer. I love it. And they have like a screen where you have all the different providers you can log in. So there it's Facebook, GitHub. Yep. Is that better? And in my ideal world, my favorite diagramming tools uses my favorite login method. It's open payments. And this is, again, in Rafiki authorization, we use our auth protocol as now. So it's like the successor to auth 2. And yeah, just to give some more feedback, right? NAB stands for Grant Negotiation Authorization Protocol. It's it only stands for that. There's no other names you can make for it. And what we did is we just went through the specs, and all we had to do was really extend it. So before, when the client wanted to make a payment request, right, they would need access to make those payments, right? And now in GitHub, you can just add the subject field. So instead of asking for receiving access in a grant to make payments or outgoing payments, incoming payments, you just provide the subject field with the wallet address that you want to verify. So, for example, I simply provide, I want to have the user check that they really do own ILP-link.Canadian. I really hope you reserve this wallet address if you haven't. So
I really should. I really should.
Just a quick flow of how that works, right? So Open Payments Client would, augment that request and request ownership information to Rafiki. Rafiki passes it on to the account service entity at the, your identity provider that you would be used to. It will look like something like this. Whether you're just asking the IDP just ask, okay, do you really own this wallet address? And we really hope we do have the name because we hit confirm, and we would just simply redirect back to the Open Payments Client, and we can proceed in saying, okay, Nathan really owns. Another thing in Ask that has been come up a lot is, as an Open Payments Client, I want to show my user how much balance there's left on a grant. So if you remember the presentation from yesterday in web monetization, this is the screen that kind of shows the budget. And if you look closely, right, you have the remaining balance there. And right now, our poor devs on the web monetization team have to do this manually. And to make working life with Ioana and Bibi from the web monetization team and the devs, right before they were they had to take care of that on the client side. And yeah, like I said, to make life better across all the teams, let's make it easier for them. So now we just query the API, and you get back the information for how much balance you have left on the grant, something like this. So again, just really trying to make it easier for clients as well to have this sort of user experience.
So in addition, we've also gotten requests from ASCs to be able to transfer data securely during a payment with the recipient ASC. Usually when they say data, they refer to things like the sender's information, private payment metadata, or a reference to the user in question for such a payment. So we decided in order to achieve this, let's just use something we already have, Stream, or ILP Stream, which is the transport layer protocol for Interledger. Listen, it just transports stuff, okay? Don't get any funny ideas. So here we have a diagram of a single packet that is sent over a ILP Stream connection. And within the structure of this packet is an encrypted segment of data or encrypted set of bits that is reserved for arbitrary data. So we can use this frame to include the encrypted data to be exchanged. And one of the main benefits of doing it this way is that it's a pretty generic interface. So theoretically, you could put anything in there. I'm not a terribly imaginative person, so I think of things like, you could put in a happy birthday memo to someone, hey, don't spend it all in one place, happy birthday, happy 90th, good luck. You could say hey, thanks for helping me move out, or maybe you could just say hey, listen, I couldn't make rent this month. I'll send you the rest later, I promise. But usually when integrators ask for this, they usually mean KYC data. But the point is that this generic interface, you can send pretty much anything in there. So some other benefits, no additional peering configuration is necessary. The data is already encrypted between the sender and the receiver. This is just something that ILP Stream already does. And the sending ASC can leverage existing admin APIs. So no new integration requirements per se. So when we take a look at how an ILP payment is sent across Stream with this encrypted data in mind, it looks pretty much the same. The only real difference is that here we take a step to actually, insert the data into the frame inside the ILP packet. Then it just kind of goes all the way across to the receiver, where it takes a step to decrypt that packet, extract the encrypted data, or the now unencrypted data, and then passing it along to the integration service. So in the context of, say, like KYC, it'll pass this along to the integration service, and then it can do whatever checks is necessary in order to verify that this KYC data is valid. You're welcome, GateHub.
So, card payments are ubiquitous, right? Whether that's you buying coffee with a card, buying tacos, hitman for your landlord, anything is possible, right? This is a pretty common ask, right? As an ASC, I want to be able to provide cards as a payment method for my users. Likewise, an ASC would also want to allow users to accept card payments. And we already have a payment network, right? We don't have to reinvent anything. This is, we can use what we have already existing, right? So how does this look like, and what did the demo show yesterday in the cards, if you were there? How did it look like? So really pretty simple, right? So yesterday when the team was presenting the card on the POS, the payment would start the initiation into the receiving Rafiki, make the payment request to the cardholder side. All the wonderful check that needs to happen on the cardholder side is done, like checking the card signature. This is better. To the center, and then we go back to our beloved ILP network and make our card payments on the ILP. And then, again, the receiver is credited and everyone's happy. Again, so since payments are done over ILP, there's no centralization, right? Unlike traditional card payments where everything has to go through a central switch. That's really democratizing and decentralizing card payments. It follows pretty much the same standard flows. There's not a lot of, other than running a couple extra services, nothing really more that you need to do to support these payments. And instead of like using these big, like old terms for card payments like issuer, merchant, and acquirer, kind of the nice concept is those POS devices that you see yesterday, they're really just linked to a receiver's wallet address. So anybody can have a wallet address, link it to POS, and you can accept card payments. ASCs are fully in control of their card printing, POS device issuing, and of course, everything is also open source, so really empowering people to become their own card issuers, POS device issuers, and all this powered with the ILP network. And one thing I'd like to add is we did a majority of this work over the Rafiki work week that we had, and what I love about working with such a team is that we can have this feature ship with so many people contributing to it. So I'd like to have a round of applause for everyone.
So, as always, we're not ones to rest on whatever laurels we may receive. We're always looking to improve further, keep listening to our integrators, and as part of that continued discussion, we have devised some further developments that you can look forward to. The first of which is an updated architecture for Rafiki. We're looking at transitioning towards a domain-driven design and event-based architecture, which will enhance horizontal scaling and throughput. We're looking forward, or we're future-proofing for scenarios where there may be increased load on a Rafiki instance, for example, coming from maybe a large amount of web monetization users, or maybe a large number of remittances coming into Rafiki, or other sources of that kind of load. We're also looking to increase the number of languages that are supported by our Open Payments SDK. Initially, we only had an SDK that was written in TypeScript. Since then, we've expanded to also include PHP and Rust. And we're looking to add some more languages in the future as well. And those are currently in the pipeline. And of course, you know, we're always listening to our integrators. We're always looking to see how we can augment our APIs, enhance Rafiki further, or just make things easier for them to integrate with Rafiki as well. And that's it. Thanks for listening. Hope you're excited. Do we have time for questions or? Okay, we got one back there.
About the owner of the wallet address, whether it's a real wallet or whether it's a test wallet. Because right now, sorry, now working?
Try again.
Is it working? No? Or same question.
Is the mic on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, the question was if you were able to tell if you're querying for a wallet address, is it a test wallet or a production wallet? So there's nothing inherently in the, let's say, response that there is. Of course, you can always add metadata to the wallet address response. Trying, obviously, the way to test if you can process funds to that wallet address would be getting a quote for it. And if there's no connection, the quote won't work. So if you really want to process transactions with a, how do I say, you will fail early, let's just say. That's really a test wallet.
There's no real simple, this wallet is on test bed, this wallet is on, has real money.
No, not necessarily. Like it would be in the URL. So it's a resource server. If you're hosting it, it would be in the URL.
Question like when you send the payment to a receiving AC, is there a way for the receiving AC to, like if the payment is, for example, a cross-border payment, then there may be various steps after which it is finally completed. So in the sending AC, inquire about the status of the payment. I mean, from Rafiki's point of view, the payment is settled, but it might not have been completed. So typically we see in the remittance world that the status of the remittance may be various steps like KYC, screening is the final completion is there a way to communicate?
Yeah, so that's one of the ideas in the encrypted exchange. So ideally, you'd be able to quickly, right? I think the point of the protocol is to make payments very fast, very quick, and the idea is, yes, you would be able to, let's say, just, how to say, maybe approve or not approve. Yeah, sorry.
What I meant is, after the payment has happened, a way to exchange metadata about the status of the payment, whether it was finally completed.
So if the recipient ASC sends you back a fulfill packet, that's basically a way to say that, okay, the payment has been completed. Likewise, you can also augment the incoming payment resources to say that, yes, the payment has been done, and the receiver has full control of what they show in an open payment. So let's say a payment has been done. If you want to add metadata to it at any point, you could. And then the sender AC or any open payments client can query that and give back information that, whatever it needs.
There's another question around the cards. So while you are implementing this cards, have you worked on this part that most of the card schemes require compliance to certain standards, PCI, SSI, so that since we're using ILP, my understanding is that it is all encrypted, card-related information that is passed. So that follows the requirements for the PCI system.
So as in being able to exchange data during the payment, is that what you mean?
Any card-related data or
Oh, yes. So essentially, if we go back here, when the card is presented and the card chip signs the transaction, that gets passed through into the request, such that the cardholder AAC can verify the data. So that was happening in yesterday's demo. Yeah, the card signature gets passed through. Obviously, as a cardholder AAC, you know that the public key of the card is there, and you can just check that the transaction is legit and comes from the person owning the card.
Yeah, I had a question around the card stuff, and I apologize to see the presentation yesterday, so I'm sorry if that was already answered. But basically, is there a concept of an interchange fees or like a way for the card issuer to make money? I know that merchants don't like it, obviously, but that's kind of how card issuers kind of finance operations. I hope that
I think you could just incorporate into ILP payment. So knowing the source of the payment, you could, right? So because it's up to the cardholder AAC to determine like the outgoing payment, so they could tack on additional fees as they see if it's a card payment, for example. So,
but it would be on top of the price.
It would be on top of the price, yeah. Because at the end of the day, right, it's really up to the AAC how much they charge the cardholder. So at the end of the day, the recipient just cares about how much money was in. So for example, for purchase, right, you get $10, but then again, the cardholder can decide to how much they really want to spend.
Thank you so much. Yes, we have it. We ready?
I'm ready.
Let's rock it, Víctor. Thank you.
Hello. Edge connector that we have developed for doing the integration between Mifos X instances that can be implemented in banking. So then the financial institutions can also implement this connector. This is an open source development that has been done by the Mifos community. This is the brief architecture. This is one of two deployment models that we have, because this is the most simple deployment that we can do. We have another one that is being orchestrated by the Payment Hub Enterprise Edition, but this is as a microservice. So then we have the Mifos back office, we have the Finerac, which is our backend, and then we have the Mifos X connector, which is a gRPC client that is connected to the People Clearinghouse switch using the gRPC protocol. And then we can reach another bank in order to send and receive transfer using the same architecture. This is very easy to do, the deployment. They are containers, Docker containers. So it can be escalated in any cloud or on-premise, depending which is the solution that you are looking for. Also, we can do a person-to-person transfers. In fact, we have an example at the end of this presentation. This is a working example because we can transfer money to a mobile client. In this case, is the PCH mobile application. In this way, we can send money to the person. This is the architecture that we have followed. We have our controller, which is the API REST endpoint. We have the party, participant, and transfer. These are the method that has been implemented. Also, we have the data transfer layer. This is in order to handle the request and response. And also we have the service, which handles the logic in order to do the account lookup. And also we have the connection to the PCA switch in order to process all the information that is sent by the server. And well, we have some beans in order to handle all the events that occurs during the transaction. In this case, for example, the authentication, the start stream, the party lookup, the participant, and the transfer. This has been implemented using the proto files that are provided by the PCH team. So this is very important to note that we have the security that can be implemented as basic security, JSON web token, and all the information is transferred using HTTPS or TLS. And also we have the utilities in order to do the logging, the monitorings. Also we can implement events in order to handle as webhooks all the transactions that are happening inside of the core. And we have a journal. That journal is important to do the traceability of the transactions that are happening or that are executed by the teller or the administrator of the core banking. And well, this is built on top of a gRPC client. This has been developed using Java. It has been developed on Spring Boot. So it is easy to understand and also to modify depending your business needs. And also there are some regulatory requirements that can be implemented or extended. For example, if you require to add another security layer like an HSM, it can be easily integrated into this application code. This is the screen that we will be demonstrating at the end of the slides. We have the customer. In this case, the customer is Víctor Romero. We have the functionality that is available on the savings account for doing the interbank transfer. In this case, I have to type the mobile phone number that I want to use for sending the money. It will retrieve the information of the page that will be used for the transfer. Once I have executed the transfer, I will receive the notification. And well, these are the public endpoints, so then anyone can test this implementation. This is Mifos Bank 1. We have created fake accounts, but you can test it. The credentials are also in the presentation, Mifos and password. This is the default credentials. And some savings account that can be used. And this is the product that we have built, this wallet, and the currency that it is Mexican pesos. We have the Bank 2, which is another instance. And the credentials are the same, but we have different customers. And the mobile numbers are linked to the savings account. In this case, I'm going to show this in a demo. Let me. We have the two instances in the screen. I'm going to log in into the first one. These are the Mifos X out of the box. You can customize the system, and also you can create different products, savings, loan, shares. products, and you can open accounts for customers depending which are your business needs. And then you can open the accounts of every product. In this case, I'm going to select one client, that is Thomas. Thomas has a wallet account. I'm going to do the interbank transfer. Let me type the destination number. It is doing the number lookup. Okay. In this case, this is the destination, that is Andromeda Hernandez. This is the number, this is the description. We can change the description. And we're going to send more money. 100 pesos. I'm going to do the submit. And then I'm going to enter in the bank number 2. I'm going to select the client, that is Andromeda. I'm going to select the account. I'm going to transaction just to check the transaction that I have done. And this is the same transaction. Yeah. So this is a working example of the transfer using the PCH connector. And as I have mentioned, we can use the same interface for sending money. For example, I'm going to send money to Blanca or to Pedro. Yeah, Blanca, let me. Blanca is the millionaire people here in the room. 55, 19, 50. 24. So then Blanca has been enrolled also the mobile application, the PCH mobile application. This is Blanca Mendoza. Their account, her account is in Black Bank Test. This is a different bank. Let's do this. Aguinaldo. And let's put the amount. I'm going to send the money to Blanca. Blanca, can you show us your mobile phone? But I'm going to send money to Pedro. Pedro Barreto, also blank bank test, interbank transfer. I'm going to change the amount. I think that's too much. 78 pesos. And Pedro has received the money. So, this open source development is available on the Mifos website. So anyone can download the code, anyone can test the mobile application, the front end, the integration, and it is open to receive also improvements. We are looking for a sustainable open source community, and well, enjoy the development that has been done by the Mifos community. Thank you.
We have 3 presentations that are signed up. The third one, hopefully they will come because they are the students that are right now at the session below supporting their teacher. If not, we'll see. We also had another unconference topic that's not sure if it's gonna happen. I didn't put it there. But if it appears, we will tackle it when it comes. We will talk today about the hackathons in Mexico. Many people were wondering why we are organizing hackathons, and the second question after that will be like, why exactly those universities in Mexico here and how that relates to our work. The second will be by my co-host, which in this case becomes the presenter, our colleague from Wikipedia. And I'll let him present when he speaks. And the students from Bauer University talking about the grant, educational grant that we have with the university there. They were excited yesterday to see that we mentioned those grants and we promote them so much, and they wanted to share how it is to be part of the grant stuff. I'm going to invite the first speaker, Time Anog, to tell us more about the experience in September with the student hackathons.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me here. So I'm an engineering manager at Interledger Foundation, and I want to talk to you about the student hackathons we had here in Mexico. We have a lot of reasons why we did it here, first of all, because the summit is happening in Mexico. So that's why we went September to see what kind of universities can we work with, what kind of students can we work with. And the decision was to go to 4 places. So we started in Oaxaca. Then we went to Estado de Mexico, which is quite close to Mexico City. We then flew to Aguascalientes and came back to Mexico City for the 4th hackathon. I want to mention that Estado de Mexico was a 24-hour hackathon, so we actually stayed there overnight with night shifts and with spaces to sleep and the students to rest. The rest were 2-day hackathons with the students going home for the night and coming back for the 2nd day. So how is the flow of the student hackathon? Basically, we have mentors from Interledger coming in to each university. Most of them are technical, working in a tech department, knowing open payments, because all of the hackathons were open payments related, so that was the main theme. And these mentors helped the registered teams to implement their ideas, their projects, which utilize our open payments. And after that, we checked their demos, we checked their code, and we selected from, let's say, maybe 50 teams, 15 or 20 teams to actually demo and present their project in 5-minute slots, which seems like short amount of time, and it is, especially when the students start with, oh, I'm so nervous to be here, thank you so much. Yes, yes, oh, I don't know what to say, so 1 minute goes with nervousness, and then they actually start with their project and their demo, so that was always fun to see, even if we told them, yeah, go on, we know you're nervous, but you're doing great. But it's the same every time, so it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And from those 15 to 20 teams, of course, there was a set of judges who had strict criteria that they gave grades on. which was the idea, how did it incorporate open payments, the demo, and the way they presented. And of course, we selected 3 teams that won first, second, third place. And sometimes there was a community prize, so to say, because we decided that some team deserved a special mention. So let's see some details about the hackathon. As I mentioned, we had 4 hackathons in Mexico. We had 618 students registered. Registered means that we had a platform that they need to register in, their teams. Usually they actually showed up, but sometimes maybe they missed the second day because they realized that their project is not the best or they became tired. But usually all of the participants actually showed up for the second day as well and had a lot of fun based on the feedback. I'll talk about the feedback a little bit later. So 193 registered in Oaxaca, 103 registered in Estado de Mexico, 154 registered in Aguascalientes, and 168 registered in Ciudad de Mexico. The students had to go through a course on Platzi. This Platzi course is basically an open payments course recorded by Marianne, our colleague, in Spanish. We have already amazing courses on YouTube from Max and Sarah. I love those courses. I watched them at least 5 times. I even noted some small bugs that I mentioned, like, ooh, you made a mistake over there. And nobody noticed but me, so I really watched them. And they are amazing because if someone doesn't understand open payments, I think those are amazing to start. And maybe do a project of your own with those YouTube videos. So thank you, Max, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Marianne, for the Spanish version, because it's based on the YouTube videos. 498 students started the Platzi courses. And when you do a Platzi course, you get a certification, which we actually could print out at the hackathons. 411 certified. We actually had a huge banner with web monetization, and it was so amazing to see the students go there with their Platzi certification, do a pose, and just be happy that, oh yeah, I have a certificate. The students, maybe we don't remember anymore, but the small things for students matter. A certification, a paper matters. Our swag matters. So when you see students being happy for a t-shirt, students being happy for, ooh, a new pair of socks, or a keychain that goes click, click, click. Oh yeah, so just like you also become happy and more energized, and yeah, this is worth it. So you go there and it's not boring. When you see their excitement, then you also become excited. Yes, so they had to use open payments, so they had to use Test Wallet as well to have an account. So we had some new accounts, 535 new accounts, users, sorry, then wallet accounts, 756. Oh no, sorry, this is the before and after. So we had, before the hackathon, 535 Test Wallet users, and after the hackathon, we calculated it was 874. You can see there the Test Wallet accounts, which are the currency accounts, so the different currency accounts. Usually the students did USD and the Mexican pesos. And then payment pointers, new Test Wallet payment pointers, and outgoing payments, which is completed transactions, basically. So you can see the difference between the before and after statistics. Lessons learned. We learned a lot of lessons, especially after the first hackathon. The first hackathon was a learning curve for us as well, because we touched down in Mexico, in Oaxaca, and we did the first hackathon, learning about Mexico, learning about Mexican students, and how things work here, how English is not really used. So a special thank you to the PCH team. They came and helped us with the Spanish translation. We couldn't have done this without them, so amazing, amazing team. And they had to register on a platform that we didn't have we didn't use before, the mentors didn't use before, so we had to learn how to use that, how to help them sometimes use it, because it was not always straightforward. And then we learned a lot about lunch breaks, when to have it, when to not. We learned about, even if we have something going on at 7 p.m., if their bus is leaving at 8 p.m., they will also leave. So they will not stay for the event or networking or something. So it was very fun to see the mentors, the only ones in the room, in the networking room, and the students, well, yeah, I have to catch a bus to go home. I have no other choice. So other lessons learned, we had feedback from the first hackathon, which was, I can say maybe 50% negative and 50% positive regarding organization, regarding logistics, regarding the interaction with us. And we read the feedback, and the next 3 hackathons was 95% positive feedback. So we implemented a lot of things we heard from Oaxaca. So maybe we need to say sorry, Oaxaca. Disculpe. Maybe we come back someday and redo the hackathon. And the local team, we had an amazing local team helping us organize the 4 hackathons. So we had to learn to work with them, and they had to learn to work with us as well. So that's why the next 3 hackathons were like a curve going upwards to be the best. And Ciudad de Mexico was probably one of the best ones, if not Aguascalientes, because Aguascalientes had a great campus. And I want to let you know, in Aguascalientes, there was a boss lady. I have to mention her. There was the university's rector or deacon, and she had a walkie-talkie, walking all over the rooms and checking if everything's okay. What else do you need? I need more air in this room. I need more water in this room. Of course, in Spanish, not in English. And everyone just resolved the issues. So that boss lady deserves a mention. She was amazing. So that's why maybe Aguascalientes was the best hackathon, because the local people helped us the most, and the campus was really nice and huge, filled with amazing butterflies and hummingbirds, also in the garden. Open payments feedback. The feedback for open payments was that it is easy to use until you need to do the redirect after the interactive grant. A lot of students, was that me? Hopefully not. So the students understood open payments. They understood how to do an incoming payment, how to do the outgoing payment request, how to do the grant and quotes, until they did the interactive grant and they received from the IDP page accepted. And that's it. And after that, they never did the redirect to a new page. As you can test out at our test boutique or the Interledger Pay, we always do a redirect back to the homepage or somewhere else. So, but of course we accepted that, but we did tell them that maybe take a look at how you can redirect further. But the overall feedback for open payments is that it's a great tool that they can use for their projects. And as a special mention, the first 3 places of the 4 hackathons will be present at the Summit Hackathon, which is starting on Saturday. It's starting on Saturday. It's an overnight hackathon as well. So they will be present here, and we hope that they learned from the student hackathon and they had a great experience, so they can even improve a lot when they are at the Summit Hackathon, because they are not going through this with other students. There will be some people already working in tech, already familiar with open payments, so they have big shoes to fill. So I'm hoping that they will do it, because there were some really great kids at the hackathons. And I'm looking forward to seeing them and seeing what they do. Next editions, Saturday. Summit Hackathon. But that's not a student hackathon. We will have next year, again, student hackathons. Where? I'm not sure yet, but there are rumors. There are rumors. Do you want some gossip? We might be coming back to Mexico again, that's for sure, because we had a really great time. The food here is great, come on. Who doesn't like this food here? Tacos, yes. More for the people in the back. Thank you. So yeah, we will probably be back in Mexico. A special mention to the student hackathons in Cape Town. We had last year student hackathons in Cape Town. What I liked better in Cape Town, and I would hope to do maybe next year in Mexico, is the preparation with open payments. In Cape Town, they had a boot camp, a one-week boot camp regarding open payments, which Ellen and Takunda from the UCT, University of Cape Town, did amazingly. So the students there knew how to redirect, for example, because they learned the whole process in 1 week. The Mexican hackathons were like the people showed up, did the Platzi course, which is, I don't know, 90 minutes or how much? 2 hours. It's 2 hours. And they started the project. So that's a really sharp learning curve for them to learn about open payments. I would change that. So I hope for the next editions we can maybe do some sort of boot camp with them. And what else did I see? Compared maybe to UCT. UCT students had maybe better finished projects, but not better presentations. In Mexico, what I saw was that do a lot of emphasis on the presentation, on the graphics. They did videos, they did AI videos because they couldn't really speak English, so they did AI videos in English, which were quite like complicated. It wasn't just a simple video. Or they went out and videoed themselves doing the demo, because there was an application regarding payment with taxi, with QR codes, and you go to the taxi driver and you pay, and they actually film themselves going, hailing a taxi and paying with a QR code. Yeah, so it's interesting that they put emphasis on the demo, on the projects, on the presentation, and not necessarily finishing the whole project. They did use more AI than Cape Town, that's for sure. So probably AI was helping them in this. What else did AI do? Well, take them in the wrong direction. We have open payments from Interledger. They had openpayments.io, openpayments.mx. What else did they have? I don't know. But it was funny because, of course, these projects were not selected to present for the judges. And after the presentations, they came and like, why wasn't my project selected? I did everything. Oh, which team are you? Oh, yeah, this and this. Let's look at your code. Oh, you're openpayments.mx. That's not us. We are in Interledger Open Payments. So, oh, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, I understand. So, yeah, maybe the usage of AI was a positive thing and a negative thing at the same time. As Joanna, I think, mentioned here, we encourage if they feel more comfortable with it, but double check everything. So that's very important. Next hackathons, we need to maybe put more emphasis on that. But for sure, the next editions will be amazing. Maybe the same students will come back again. And I will finish with one feedback from a student. He didn't give direct feedback. He made a TikTok video. And I researched the hashtag like Interledger Student Hackathon, and I found his TikTok video. So he filmed the swag, he filmed them coding, and he filmed the launch. And the consensus at the end of the TikTok video was, I've never been taken more care of than this hackathon. So he was very happy about the food, about everything. And I hope the students feel the same way. And I hope the next edition students will feel the same way, because Interledger and the amazing technical staff mentors will do our best to do so. Thank you.
Do we have questions? Do we have the TikTok video? If she sends me, I promise I'm gonna put it on the big screen.
I sent you the link.
Yes, I was playing. No, I was playing. If she sends me to get away with it, now I have to redo it. Okay, I'm gonna post it. Okay, we do have the students here. Do you wanna do it now or more close? Or the other one? Too much technology. Do you wanna do it now, your talk, or we will have another one? I put you third because you mentioned you need time. Third? First. Okay, one of the other topics that I heard that the university students gave feedback was about our open payments SDKs. And I don't remember, Timea, do you remember the situation when they tried to work more on the Python SDK instead of the hackathon?
Yeah.
It was in Oaxaca?
In Oaxaca, yeah.
Do you have a minute, more context about it? Because they literally put so much effort in trying to build it. In their demo, they mentioned the slide like, you should improve this SDK with this, and we were all like, oops, more work for us.
We told them to get involved. Sorry. So yeah, in Oaxaca, one of the teams wanted to do Python, and we said, we are sorry, it's in the works, it's not done yet. But they gave us feedback when we were at the judges' deliberation, do Python. And we said, it's open source, so please join the community and finish the Python implementation. You can do it. So I don't think they started, but we will maybe tell them again.
We'll make sure to send this recording because the Open Payment SDK is done by one of the volunteers. He attended other hackathons, got bored, so he created this. So we literally invited him to present this. So without further ado, let's learn more about the Open Payments SDK with Yanni Janelos.
Woo!
Yeah, open payments. Some introductions first. So my name is Jan Gianellos. I'm based in Berlin, currently working at Wikimedia Foundation, previously Mozilla, but I've been involved with open source for quite some time. And I think my first time I heard about Interledger Foundation and open payments was the Costa Rica Summit, where it was like, okay, I joined the hackathon. I did something around fraud detection. I was like, oh, it's interesting stuff. Open Payments API looks interesting. It's HTTP based, so yeah, why not? So I was I started having an interest in that back then, and then at some point, I've heard that oh yeah, we might have a need of for a Python client, and then I was thinking, yeah, maybe I can contribute with that. So. From my background, I've been a Python developer for quite some time, but I'm not actively working on Python on a daily basis, so it sounded like a good idea, more of a side project. And also, Python in the web has big adoption, so other than Node, having a Python open payments client might be a good idea. So yeah, I started working on that. I took a look at the current implementation. So the mainstream one is the Node. It's I think it's the most well-supported. This is what people use. Then back when I started, there was a Rust implementation, which I didn't really work on. And meanwhile, there is a PHP client. So yeah, so here's the link for the Python SDK. It's still work in progress, but should mostly work. Currently, Gavin, who was talking yesterday, is trying to integrate it to his project, which is going to bring actual problems from the project to fix. And maybe if we have feedback from the hackathon, we should also open issues on GitHub, or we should decide on a way to track issues so we improve things. But yeah, it's there, it works, has some test coverage, it has some documentation. So yeah, I think that it's in a state that people can contribute. So when I started working as a contributor, I think that the first starting point were the documentations, which were surprisingly good, especially the fact that they have a lot of diagrams around like how use cases interact with the system, and also like has like a lot of background around the protocol and the spec. So yeah, reference implementations were really important. The fact that the test server works and it's easy to create test data, like test users and test resources was also very important. But I think that the thing that it's mostly useful for newcomers in the project is the snippets from the node client. I think this is the best way to understand how like an existing good implementation works like. And also, lastly, but also very important, is like the flow diagram, which pretty much describes everything that happens with the Open Payments API. So yeah, the main resource you have as an implementer is the Open API specification. Open API specification is a way to describe HTTP APIs. It gives you like a language that you can write YAML and describe endpoints, what requests they accept, what parameters they accept. You can document like what its endpoint does. You can like create examples. So the UI of the Open API specification looks like something like that. So for example, here for Open Payments, we know that like this is an API. It exposes these 3 top-level endpoints. We have some documentation around what it does. And then you can like see how its request works with some documentation around the specific request, what kind of method it is, and like stuff around the HTTP aspect of this request. And then it describes like the parameters, and also like you can see like what kind of body you need to send in order to send a request. So yeah, OpenAPI is very useful for like having a better understanding visually and like having a way to have a machine readable specification of API. So overall, like it's really, really useful when like you're working as a new implementer. So aside of the documentation that it provides and like the YAML definitions and like the description of the API, there is a lot of tooling around that. So there's a lot of tooling for like validating your requests, validating your payload for the API, and also there is a very important tool in the OpenAPI community, which is the OpenAPI generator. So the idea of the OpenAPI generator is that you give this tool an OpenAPI specification, and it creates you, using a generator, a basic client for the language and the target you are aiming for. So when I started working on things, I was like, okay, that's great. Like I'm gonna type OpenAPI generator -t Python, whatever it is, and it's gonna give me a client. But it didn't work like that. So OpenAPI tooling and OpenAPI generator gives you the assumption that by having a well-spec'd out API, you will eventually have a working client, which is not really the case in Open Payments API. So something that I was surprised is that there is a lot of unused code that generates that confuses more than helps. It gives you this false promise of an automated code generation that will give you a working project, which again didn't really work in my case. So yeah, overall, for like as an experience being trying to implement Open Payments, I don't necessarily believe that OpenAPI specification is this like silver bullet that would fix our problems. So I think that the main pain point while working on the implementation was the authentication and authorization protocol that Open Payments uses. So GNAP is the protocol that Open Payments use for authorization and authentication, which sounds like a very good idea. I've read the documentation on Open Payments, and it really makes sense for the need, but the community and the tooling available is not widely supporting it while you're doing things like generating code using OpenAPI. So the authentication part was something that needed manual intervention. And the second part was kind of, it took me a lot of time to understand, is that I was expecting the API to be, its request would be a single step on the flow of doing a payment. So for example, I was expecting that you would do a post that sends post, send money, X wallet, X amount, and that's it. But that's not true. So you need to really understand the workflow with the grants and how payment objects work and how the system expects to go through all the hoops to submit a payment. Which brings the question that we've always also discussed with Gavin, the other contributor. What's the difference between a client implementation and SDK? And I believe my opinion is that a client what OpenAPI tooling gives you is more of a low-level tool that gives you very high granularity on doing stuff, where an SDK is more of a high-level abstraction that you don't need to understand all the stack and all the details in order to do something. So, for example, there would be two use cases. We might need the very high-level use case where, I don't know, a student in a hackathon wants to build a form that clicks a button and they send money. So it's a very high level. It doesn't need to understand many things. It's more the outer scope of things. But then it could also be the use case that you have a low-level need that you need to understand all the business logic in order to go through the whole workflow and understand the details and intervene where you need for your business logic. So I think there should be a discussion around tooling and the need of what is an SDK, what is a client, and if we need both. So yeah, I think that's something important moving forward. So currently, the Python client is still work in progress, but I think it's at a point that could be easily usable. I'm hoping that soon we have more actual real world to hear from the community or people from the Open Payments. And it might be the case that given the state and the way that things work, maybe the Node client might be enough. Might need Node. So I think there's a good topic about what's the direction of the clients of Open Payments. Do we need more clients? Do we need to focus on the Node? Do we need to only focus on HTTP specs? And if we need more, I was thinking, what should be next? So maybe Ruby. I've heard that Go client, I think it's this?
It's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works. Maybe Java. So yeah, I think that there should be a discussion around how we move forward. Is there a strategy around SDKs? Do we need more? Do we need less? Do we need to focus on details? Do we need to focus on more variety? I don't know. But good topic for future discussions. Which brings what I believe is the most important thing is to not only describe the spec and not only describe the details of HTTP, but have a way to describe workflows in a more intuitive way. So, for example, when you start building something, the expectation of a user that is not involved with Open Payments is that the process would be much simpler. But in practice, you need to understand many implementation details to use it in your own project. So I believe there should be some abstraction or some development towards direction to describe like workflows instead of endpoints. And abstract use cases to single action or like single atomic transactions. So lately I've been thinking about how things move forward, what are the next languages, do we need more, do we need less? And I somehow got attracted to the idea of how would it work if we didn't have like language-specific implementations, but we have an language-agnostic way of describing things. So there's two ideas that I'm currently thinking. The first one is this idea I had while I was working on the Python SDK, which is like, what if instead of having clients, we could have like a small service that would work as a sidecar base, like next to the service that you develop, that would do all the work for you. So we have a very small service. It uses the official Node client, which is like very well maintained, exposes gRPC. gRPC gives you all descriptions of the protocol, gives you like specs about the protocol buffer so users know what data to submit. It gives you definitions that are not language agnostic. So for example, you can generate code that doesn't depend on a specific language. And on top of that, it gives you a way to describe services. So for example, you can create the sidecar that says, here is the payload described in a native like way. I don't know, in Python would be objects, I don't know, Java would be something else. But it gives you both a description of the spec and actions on the spec. So you don't need to implement much. You have like this small service next to your service that does all the heavy lifting, and you just talk over gRPC to this small service to do all the work. And the protocol buffers do all the heavy lifting of creating language-specific clients, which are, you don't need to template anything. They work natively. So that's something I was kind of experimenting this week. It needs a bit of work because TypeScript I didn't find a good way to automatically convert TypeScript types to protocol buffers. I was kind of hoping that would exist. But I really believe that it would be a very viable solution moving forward in order to have better client adoption in a variety of languages. And the second route that is a bit more complicated and not that modern is, what if we take a step back and instead of like creating language-specific clients, we create a single, I don't know, C++ client, and then we create binary bindings per language. I am not so sure about those. I think that I'm more interested in the first one, but I believe that instead of like focusing on creating clients and drafting clients from scratch, we should find a way to make this language agnostic. So we don't need to maintain like code base, and we don't need to rely on implementers to maintain their libraries, which is also like, it needs resources. Like you need people to work on things, you need to maintain things, you need to update things, you need to make sure that like updates work. So I believe that if we focus on the single client that exists right now, which is the Node client, and try to abstract it in a way that it would automatically give you some sort of like implementation in different languages, that would be a good solution. So that's it. Thank you. And if you have any questions.
God damn it, you do have questions. Go ahead, Max.
Thanks, Yanni.
It's a joke. I'm happy for questions.
I'm surprised that, in a positive way, that the HTTP message signatures weren't a problem, because that seems to be the main like difficulty when building a client. Can you tell us how you did it in Python?
Yeah, so I was actually also surprised that the OpenAPI specification wouldn't give this out of the box. I was expecting that would give you that code base too, but it didn't. So the idea is that you intercept the request, and then you would just add the headers, you do the signing headers, which the actual signing part is not that complicated. The problem is that OpenAPI generator doesn't know about this. So you need to find a way to intervene and sign the header.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I came in a little bit towards the end, so I hope you didn't cover this already. But it was interesting to hear some of your ideas in terms of reducing all the potentially redundant work on separate clients. I guess exposing the TypeScript one as a service and using gRPC isn't something I had thought of. I think probably everyone that's worked on one of the clients has, at least for a moment, had a similar idea of, or just a desire of, to not reinvent the wheel every time. Did you consider at all like any sort of open, I think Max might have mentioned something here, the open API generators to generate the clients?
So
like Stainless, I think, is one that comes to mind.
Which one?
Stainless.
I don't know about this.
I believe it was introduced to me by Radu. I think Stripe might use it for some of their clients. So I mean, it just to elaborate, you would have separate clients, but it would just take the work out of generating them. I know we have some custom, probably, stuff that would need to go into that, but in terms of the message signing and
like I think that like if you think about this problem about like not having the need to maintain multiple clients, the OpenAPI tooling sounds like a good idea. I don't know about Stainless, but I've used OpenAPI generator. In practice, I believe the output has so much noise, and the fact that a big chunk of the work is the signing and the authentication that the OpenAPI spec doesn't handle, I think it defeats the purpose. I was very much surprised that, like as I mentioned at the start of the presentation, I really thought that I would type OpenAPI generator, blah, 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 create a client, and would do it. The reality is that the output was far from that. So yeah, we could try like improving, if possible, the OpenAPI spec to see if we get closer to the expected outcome. But I believe the most important aspect is the authentication, that we can't really implement templates and generators for languages or do signing. So yeah, eventually you need to find a way to intervene requests and sign the headers.
Thank you.
Other questions? I'm a bit low. Wasn't sure if it's a hand. So, do you accept more work? I'm looking at Max or Timea, who's gonna lead this? Not me. I'm aware of monetization. Thank you. Okay, thanks so much, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just mentioned John because it's the email address. Yanis, thanks so much. We have the third presentation, and I'm super happy that they took my challenge yesterday to present more about their work. Ever? Do you want some slides to put? Do you want to use your... yeah, let's do it then. And as I mentioned in several talks yesterday, we have a lot of grants that we offer, but unfortunately, with so many things happening here, not all the time we get to know the results or people enjoying it or how it goes. I think Timea mentioned also from the Cape Town, it really was helpful that the students from Cape Town have this opportunity with the grant to have an innovation lab where they learn more about open payments. And in the bootcamp they did before the hackathon, they literally learned all the process that Open Payments does, so they could finalize the hackathon solutions way faster than the students here in Mexico City that don't have any support from the university with the Open Payment system. Open Payment ecosystem is a non-necessary system. We're close? You're right? I will also give, so we will have 2 microphones, you will get to share it. And is only her presenting? You're the supporters? Should I ask hard questions at the end, or should I be like, nah? Yeah, okay. No, I already appreciate the courage, not the courage, the offering to share us more about it. Then, let's go it. Let's meet more about it.
I'll introduce myself again. Hello, my name is Efe Aworigba. I'm a second-year undergraduate student. This is Thomasin Lanyi. She's a third-year undergrad student. And Emmanuel Osuntini. He's a fourth-year undergrad student. And we're here representing Bowie State University, the first historically black college in Maryland, USA. This is Thomasin Lanyi. She's a third-year undergrad student. Over the past year, our team, guided by our advisor, Dr. Andrew Mangle, has been exploring the Interledger protocol and help bridging financial gaps and making digital payments more inclusive. Today, I'll be sharing what Bowie State has done with Interledger support and how it's impacted our campus. This program has opened doors for students like me to combine technology, economics, and social impact in ways that could reshape the future of fintech at HBCUs. Today, I'll be sharing what Bowie State has done with Interledger support and how it's impacted our campus. This program has opened doors for students. At Bowie State, Professor Mangle created the Interledger Impact Team, a group of students passionate about fintech and digital inclusion. Our mission is to research, educate, innovate, and all using the Interledger protocol. We wanted to make sure that we wanted to make sure not just the Interledger Impact students, but all students on Bowie State campus understood why open payments matter. So we started hosting events like Interledger and Me, which were informal sessions where we discussed the underbanked, the future of fintech, and how open source technology can make finance more fair. These events helped introduce the Interledger ecosystem to students from all majors, from business to comp sci. We didn't just stop on our campus. Through the HBCU initiative, our team also had the chance to travel to other historically black colleges all across the US. It's sharing what we learned and encouraging students to think about how technology can close wealth and access gaps in their own communities. We held financial tech sprints at these various institutions, where while teaching students about Interledger and fintech, we helped move into the ideation stage to start creating fintech solutions that would help the underbanked in their communities. Our long-term goals is to see fintech become an official program or major across historically black colleges and universities. Because when students of color have access to hands-on innovation like Interledger, they don't just learn about finance, they learn how to reshape it. Okay. This journey has also given us the chance to travel and compete in multiple hackathons and pitch competitions. There was a video, but it showed our Amtrak-a-thon, where we competed in a live hackathon on a moving train. And most recently, we got to compete at a hackathon at Fayetteville University, where the Interledger Impact Team participated in a Deloitte business case competition and won 3rd place out of 6 teams, winning $1,000. We spent the summer learning how Interledger protocol works, researching how it could serve the underbanked, learning about payment interoperability, protocol design, and how these technologies can connect different financial systems seamlessly. The goal wasn't just to understand the protocol, but to create something that reflected Interledger's mission, a tool that could make saving and sharing money more accessible for communities that need it most. Each of us took a different approach, but still found a real solution to real problems. Saving platform inspired by traditional African susus or ajos. A susu is a traditional group savings system where members contribute a fixed amount of money regularly into a shared pot. Each round, one member receives the entire pot until everyone has had a turn. It's a trust-based, community-driven way to save money and access lump sums without using a bank. Susus are the foundation of community in many West African and Caribbean areas. However, when participants often immigrate from their home countries, their susus are broken, and these people lose the sense of community and financial security they once had. PattySave would theoretically use Interledger protocol to make group saving and cross-border payments simple, transparent, and accessible. Users create saving circles, connect through unique Patty tags, and contribute seamlessly from anywhere in the world. It is designed for communities that rely on informal systems, helping them build trust, track progress, and grow together financially. As I look ahead, my vision for PattySave goes beyond just building a digital app. I know firsthand how important financial connection is because I'm the child of a Nigerian immigrant. My mother left her country for better opportunities, but when she left, that decision also meant leaving behind a community that once supported one another through shared savings, care, and trust. When those traditional networks were broken apart, it became harder for those people back home to survive and harder to stay connected in the way communities once did. This is why I believe PattySave is a way to rebuild community through technology. Moving forward, I plan to work with developers to build PattySave into a functional app that can integrate Interledger protocol into real-world savings communities and possibly integrate a credit building system. At the same time, our team hopes to expand Interledger education across more HBCUs in the United States. We hope to work with other schools and organizations to build financial tech education into the foundation of historically Black colleges, so future students can innovate, learn, and experiment and lead in this space. I would genuinely like to thank Interledger for assisting students like me all over the US to become the future of fintech. Thank you.
I have the first question before I go to the audience. Who came with the idea of the train hackathon and how was it? Tell us a bit more. I heard about it and I heard our CTO wanting to do it again and I was like, oh wow, okay.
I personally didn't get the chance to participate because I was not in college yet, but my teammates did, and I think it was inspired by Cape Town's train hackathon, right?
Yeah, we collaborated with Cape Town for a little bit, a portion of it, but it was mainly with the Fayetteville University. So basically, Bowie State, since it's in Maryland, we took a train all the way over there, and we used like our laptops during that time to do like the actual idea. So we got the prompt from Cape Town, and then they kind of gave us the idea to do the work on the train, and then we just presented the idea at Fayetteville University.
Wow, that's so cool. Did people have fun?
Yes.
Did the internet work on the train though?
For the most part.
Yes, this is always the issue, always fixing the internet. Okay, yes.
Have you had a chance, we call it partner in Jamaica. Have you had a chance to do a demo, like a live demo where we have people savings together?
Yes, I do. It is underdeveloped is an understatement, but I built it on a Adalo because I'm personally are not a developer. I work in the cybersecurity space, but yes, I do have a visual mock-up of it on Adalo.
And I hear here cybersecurity space, Max. We always talk, one of the questions most asked, especially when I present web monetization about security, which translates back to open payment security and Rafiki security and all that. And we do audits, but of course people are still, not believers, but they would like to see more stuff around. So if you want to play more, we are open.
Of course, thank you.
Not putting more work on us? Yes, all the time. Other questions? How many people do you think you are involved already with the courses that you had and the hackathons and everything?
They have said we've had 700 touch.
So I'll say I just started working with Dr. Mangle in 2024, just last year, and I just joined Bowie State in 2023. So starting from Bowie State, which is a commuter school mainly, you have a lot of students who come to school and then they leave and don't really pay attention to a lot of opportunities that happen at Bowie State. So as we started off, when I first got to Bowie State, he holds his IOP discussion to really gauge people and have them involved. And I can say that sometimes he can get a little discouraged about it, but he's made extreme progress, as in 2023 when I first it was introduced. Not many people were very open, and when you think of fintech, you think of technology. I'm not a technology major, so it's not gonna have any relevance to me. So let's say he would have maybe 5 to 6 people in the room, and when his goal was just to at least get a couple people to really try to understand the idea of the mission of Interledger Foundation and the protocol. So up to now, I'll say after his efforts have not been a waste, because now in a room that has maybe, that started off with 6 people that come in with a room full of 30 chairs, it is full now to the point. So every Monday we have these meetings, and we have a lot of people who are coming in to understand, or to try to understand. Not everyone does. It can be a broad concept. Some want to try to push their own disciplines into it, and sometimes they don't understand it. But it has been spread not only through the business building, but computer technology. She's in the business building as well, but many people who aren't here who are also computer science majors. So the work has been spreading. The idea is about more ideating through actual research, of course, not fully AI. AI can be stagnant, and really starting to get to the idea of prototyping with just prototyping in general. So.
And as he brought up earlier, Interledger is a very interdisciplinary sector. So it has been very complicated to get students to really understand that fintech can be for everyone. There's a part in fintech for everyone. But it's been really interesting because instead of taking the more technical approach to everything we've done with Interledger, we've tried to touch the more empathetic side, remembering what the Interledger Foundation is about, helping serve the underbanked. And a lot of these historically Black colleges and universities are in lower economic areas where people are underbanked. So by helping them step by step, teaching financial literacy and helping them create ideas of how to serve the underbanked in their communities, we've been able to touch many HBCU students.
Thank you. I really want to emphasize again for everyone that besides the fintech tech side of Interledger, there is also this creative and research part that we do. And we do have one of the ambassadors that literally made a research about the unbanked people in America, in the United States, I think specifically. And it's still producing such a waking moment for, like, aha moment for the rest to see that, oh, even in USA, it's hard to be banked sometimes because you don't have approach. And we don't think small countries in Europe will be so connected that in 1 hour you're all corners, so having a bank would not be a problem. But if we translate to other countries, other situations, it's very different part. And from a community manager perspective that we have here, definitely a very big thank you to share more, and we would love to learn more about your feedback, how to make it more comprehensive. I think Timmy in the first presentation where we are still down mentioned that we have the open payments course in English on the YouTube. If we can improve that more so you can literally share that, we can do some online sessions for people to ask more questions. I'm taking this on me to work on it. So thank you so much for sharing it from your perspective.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone joining this. Oh, yeah. This was the last open mic session. Thanks for joining us. I know it was a competition with all the other stages. I do appreciate you join us and share more from your work. I think we are officially closing the demo lab. You're officially getting rid of me, finally. So, but we'll see you later at the main stage for the closing remarks and at the party later on. Thanks so much, everyone.